Hey guys, this is Fran. How are we doing? Be very welcome again to MetalFran for a new video in which today I'm glad to reopen Ranked Discography, one of my favorite sections of this channel. And today we are gonna be speaking of In Flames, one of my favorite bands ever. If you are new on this kind of video, let me tell you very briefly, very quick. First of all, I will be telling you a bit of In Flames history, but after we will go straight to the point and I will be showing you my tier list of In Flames in a usual Ranked Discography categories, just speaking about the albums and waiting for your feedback, because as you already know, this is very important to me. I want your opinion. I want to discuss with you about music, about In Flames in this case. So yeah, if you like the video, if you like the idea, if you like this new Ranked Discography, just let me know and let's have a great music discussion here, okay? Nothing else, be ready because this is gonna start right now. Let's go. Before going ahead with In Flames discography tier list, let me show you precisely their records, which are no few, because I'm gonna remind you something. Last year In Flames turned 30 years of age. So yeah, I mean, that's a while and there's some records to speak about it. First of all, on 1994 they released Lunar Strain, the only In Flames album with Anders Frieden as no vocalist. Instead, on his place was Michael Sten, the main vocalist of In Flames, which is, as you probably already know, Dark Tranquillity vocalist. In 1996, and now already with Anders Frieden as main vocalist, In Flames released The Jester Race. 1 year later, on 1997, Oracle was released to the market. 2 years after, it was the turn for Colony, and opening the new millennium, In Flames released in 2000 Clayman. On 2002, the band took a new style, a new path, and they released for that Reroute to Remain. Following that style, on 2004, it was released Soundtrack to Your Skate. 2 years later, a new different album, a quite unique album within In Flames discography, was released, and is no other than Come Clarity. In 2008, A Sense of Purpose was released to the market, and in the second decade of the millennium, Sounds of a Playground was released in 2011. 3 years later, Siren Charms, and in 2016, Battles. In 2019, I the Mask, and last but not least, in 2023, Looks Like a Lie, but almost 3 years ago, Foregone was released as a last In Flames album so far. Okay, my friends, here we go. I have no secrets to you. This is already my tier list of In Flames. All albums are already placed in their categories, but before starting to comment all of them, let me remind you my categories, my tiers, which are, first of all, Olympus, second, Amazing, third one, Good Effort, fourth one, You Can Forget This, and fifth, Chaos and Pain. First of all, first disclaimer, this is only, as always, my point of view, my In Flames taste, which is influenced by many things, especially any important, like just my timeline, just my taste, again, the different times that I listen these albums, where I listen, how I listen, who recommended to me, etc. As always, that kind of things influence in our decisions, in our way of enjoying music, and this one is no other than that. So yeah, please keep that in mind. And second disclaimer that I wanted to say is that for this particular case, for this In Flames discography, I wanted to let you know that I found difficult to place a couple of albums, especially because I feel the borders between the tiers, the categories, are quite complicated. Because yeah, for example, I'm gonna explain just a moment one of them and I will get in deep. The Jester Race, I know that many people can place on Olympus, that will be okay. Same for A Sense of Purpose to place on Good Effort. Reroute to Remain can be in Amazing, wherever. I found it quite difficult this time, except some albums that were pretty clear decision to take. But let's go ahead, let's start as always for the bottom, for the worst, for Chaos and Pain. And okay guys, this time my decision was super clear. Oh, just one reminder more, I placed the album from left to the right, being the right the worst. Okay, so in this case, for Chaos and Pain, the worst of the worst would be Siren Charms, which I feel guys, is the lowest moment of In Flames. I think Siren Charms doesn't feel In Flames at all. I mean, if you compare Siren Charms with Oracle or Clayman or Just Erase, they look simply like different bands. I really don't like the pace of the album. I really don't like the clean voices of the album. There are soulless songs, like 100% soulless. I just can save Rusted Nail and that's it, and it's not even a great song, but is the only song that I could save and is on my In Flames playlist. But above that, everything is terrible. Very similar to Sounds of a Playground from 2011. To be honest, this album was especially painful to me because I discovered In Flames with A Sense of Purpose. So the next album that was released, wow, for me was like a very special moment and I was so disappointed. I would just save Deliver Us, that's it probably, the single, but no more than that. Is again a very soulless album. I went to a concert of that tour and I can assure you something, their own attitude was really matching the spirit and the level of the album. So yeah, I think Chaos and Pain is exactly the place of this album. With Battles and I the Mask, I have a different point of view, but they are also in the same tier, okay? At least here I can see that In Flames were at least trying a bit more. I saw some efforts on that albums, but for me they are failure albums. Just that. I really don't like that kids vocal background chorus in almost all songs. They are closer to pop rock than to In Flames' usual style. So are I the Mask and Battles better than Sounds of a Playground and Siren Charms? Yes. Are good enough to move from another tier? In my opinion, no. From I the Mask, I would save two songs that I consider great songs, actually, which are I Am Above and the self-titled I the Mask. But besides that, guys, this is another Chaos and Pain album with no very deep songs, no powerful songs, songs that they feel really long, really soulless, no great solos, no powerful voices from under. So yeah, Chaos and Pain, absolutely no doubts. On You Can Forget This, our next tier, I place Soundtrack to Your Escape. Before doing this tier list, I listen again all the albums, and with You Can Forget This, I was having kind of mixed feelings. I was torn for some moments in placing it in Good Effort, but overall I just save 3 songs to my playlist, and I consider that when I save 3 songs out of 14, which I think is the total of the album, that's not enough, and that's clearly an indicative of something was not working there. Again, it's not a terrible album, but it was the beginning of the lowest In Flames era, so I think it's an album that easily you can forget in Flames discography. If you don't listen this album, it will be okay, and you will not be losing almost anything. Of course, I would save The Quiet Place, very catchy song. Also Friend and Like You're Better Dead. Okay, they are good songs, but in my opinion, they are not enough to the best In Flames level. Moving on to Good Effort, I have here Subterranean, Lunar Strain, and Reroute to Remain. For Subterranean and Lunar Strain, I'm gonna make like a combined opinion, which is Great Effort in the sense of they are not, for me, they are not In Flames albums, in the sense of I don't associate them with In Flames style and sound, if that makes sense. But especially Lunar Strain with Michael Sten, as I was mentioning before, come on, is Michael Sten in their best moment, an album very close to The Gallery from Dark Tranquillity, and I feel sometimes within the album you can sense that. So just for that, because some songs are quite cool, like Behind Space, for example, or In Flames or Lunar Strain, I think that's enough to consider this album like a really good effort. The other album that I place here is Reroute to Remain, which is an album that it was obviously very polemic within In Flames discography, and yeah, that makes absolute sense because they, of course, switched to a different style, totally different style, closer to the new metal that was successful at that time in 2002. We all know Slipknot, Korn. It was that moment during metal when other classic styles were not that trendy, like thrash, death. They were not in the best moment, so most of the bands that were playing melodic death, thrash, they moved to hard rock, to new metal, to something more alternative, more modern in the sense of open to the mainstream, and that is what Reroute to Remain is a new path for In Flames. And I can say something similar to what I said for Soundtrack to Your Escape. It's an album that has 14 songs and I save 5 to my playlist. The difference with Soundtrack to Your Escape is that in this case, the 5 songs that I save are absolutely hits to me, which are Reroute to Remain, Trigger, Cloud Connected, Minus, and Free Fall. That 5 songs are 5 songs that I never get tired to listen, and I really consider as probably one of the best songs of this In Flames era. From 2002 until current times, these 5 songs are the best of the best. So just for that, I think Reroute to Remain is fairly placed on good effort. Now let's move ahead to Amazing tier list. And this one I think could be a bit polemic, but hey guys, this is just opinions. So as I was saying, I discovered In Flames with a sense of purpose. So maybe I'm very biased on that. I can totally agree. I don't think probably no one could say this is a bad album for In Flames. Not at all. I mean, there's very, very good songs here. The Mirror's Truth, Disconnect, Sleepless Again, Alias, which is my favorite, I'm in the Highway, Delight and Angers, Move Through Me, and Sober and Irrelevant, for example. That songs are, in my opinion, very cool, but I can understand if, yeah, you can place a sense of purpose on good effort, that would make sense. But for me, and for these particular reasons, I place in Amazing. I was torn, not gonna lie, but that's what I did. Also, in 2023, as I was mentioning before, In Flames surprised us with Foregone, an amazing album, no doubts here. I don't accept a no in this one, because Foregone, in my opinion, is a great album. And for real, I was not expecting this. I was not expecting an album of this quality at this time. In Flames came back not to the heaviest times, but close to that, you know? So State of Slow Decay, Meet Your Maker, Foregone Part 1 and Part 2, The Great Deceiver, that songs are super cool and no doubts the best songs that In Flames released in a while, in years, in more than a decade. So just for that, I think Foregone should be in Amazing. Another album that I place here is Colony. Colony, I know that for most of In Flames fans would be in Olympus, but I'm gonna say why I place in Amazing. I agree that it's a great album. I love it, okay? Ordinary Story, Colony, Zombie Inc., Behind Space, 99, Insipid 2000, The New World, all of that are songs that I absolutely love. But the difference with, for example, Oracle, in my opinion, is that it's a bit slower album with less rhythm changes, less catchy melodies, less songs that you can remember. Because, for example, I will be speaking in a minute, but in Oracle, you can easily remember any song of the album. But in Colony, I would say the songs that keep into your mind are Ordinary Story and probably Behind Space 99, which is a cover from Lunar Strain. Also The New World maybe, but I would say it's one step behind Olympus tier. So I don't know what's your opinion, guys, but I place Colony on amazing. And the last one of this tier is The Jester Race, the first album of Anders Rieden, which is very cool. I have no complaints on Jester Race. I have on my playlist The Jester Dance, Artifacts of Black Rain, Graveland, Lord Hymnos, Dead Eternity, The Jester Race, December Flower. I mean, many songs. I really like the album. I think it has a great personality, but it's just one step behind my Olympus, which is the following. First of all, Come Clarity. Come Clarity is a unique album within In Flames discography, no doubts. They went crazy on this album. I have to say, crazy. It's the rawest In Flames album. It has no time to breathe. It's unbelievable how hard, how heavy, how desperate the album sounds, and I love it. It's just a totally different, a jewel inside In Flames discography, and I feel it has to be here on Olympus. Same for Clayman, which is an album that I absolutely love, even though it's not fully entire on my playlist. My selected songs are Bullet Ride, Pinball Map, Only for the Weak, As the Future Repeats Today, Square Nothing, Brush the Dust Away, Swim, and Another Day in Quicksand. But guys, any of these songs are extremely cool. I mean, I cannot get more excited listening in the gym, for example, Pinball Map or Bullet Ride. And come on, Only for the Weak chorus is the most characteristic In Flames chorus. I would say anyone get excited with it. Sounds a bit mainstream, but it's undoubtedly one of the best In Flames chorus. I love the cover, I love the vibes, I love everything about Clayman. Again, I guess someone could place in amazing because it was the start of the change that you could see after in Reroute to Remain. Okay, but in my opinion, Olympus, yes or yes. And last one, the first of Olympus, has to be Oracle, which is, I think, the masterpiece of In Flames. Songs like Jotun, Food for the Gods, Gyroscope, Dialogue with the Stars, The Hive, Worlds Within the Margin, Episode 666, Everything Counts. What an album, what a cover, what a peak moment for In Flames. This is just an amazing, great masterpiece. And I don't know, I think everyone will be agreeing on me that this album has to close Olympus In Flames tier list. Well guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for staying until this point. I hope you like this new Ranked Discography video. Please, again, as I was mentioned in the intro, let me know your opinions because I'm always very happy and very glad to chat with you about your musical taste. In this case, obviously about In Flames. It's obviously a long career where you can see ups and downs. That's fine. That's something that always happens for everyone. But I would say In Flame discography is quite balanced. And of course, their ups are absolutely amazing. In Flames is basically one of the greatest melodic death bands ever. So yeah, I mean, they have one of the greatest metal hits on the genre. Clayman, Oracle, Come Clarity, Colony if you want, Jester Race. That albums are basically amazing milestones within death melodic genre. So what can I say, guys? I really enjoy them nowadays. Still, they are great, and I hope after Forgone, In Flame still has a great future. What do you think? Please let me know. Until our next video, take care and see you soon.